Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Casey. I'm a farmer from West Texas, and today is November 26th. We're going to be jumping in this 285R, 8285R John Deere tractor here with the duals. Got a field cultivator hooked on behind us. We are going to go start doing a little bit of field prep on an old washed out hill. It's pretty sandy. Most all the fields are still pretty muddy, but we can jump up on top of that sand hill and we're gonna groom it out, smooth it up. Okay, we just made it to the field. What I'm doing is I'm plowing the edges off of where we're wanting to plow. We're gonna plow all this over here. Cheeto's over here with the shredder. He's shredding this little spot off. Like I was saying earlier, this is pretty highly erodible ground. I'm hoping we can get this little piece plowed down and leveled out, smoothing the ends off here. That way when I turn my plow, my gauge wheels on the outside of the plow don't have to bounce over all those bumps, and it's a lot easier on my equipment. Cheeto got the field shredded up, cutting these stalks off. We can't run a stalk cutter because the ground is too wet and it'll ball up our stalk cutters that we would generally run. It's kind of mechanical tillage running the stalk cutter, so we have to run the shredder, which runs above the ground. This is a big old hill. It's got a half-mile pivot on it, but it comes over this hill, and it's pretty steep. And when it rains, well, obviously the water wants to go down to the lake. When it does, it cuts little tributaries kind of going down. It's become hard to farm because of these little bumps that it's causing in the field. A couple years back, this the sand hill here got to blowing, and we came over here with a disc lister, which is what makes beds, and you can kind of tell the slope of the ground here is really wavy. Well, it makes it hard to farm, because now we're 30/50s and our disc listers are on 40s, so our rows are off. It doesn't really work well, and it also doesn't work with our big planters. The gauge wheels run in between in these big rows. Well, these big rows are relatively deep, and our planters are chain drive off the gauge wheel. Well, when you come on this unlevel ground, the gauge wheel won't touch the ground, so we don't get seed planted. We've got a lot of moisture in the ground because of the rain that we've received in this past month. So we got an opportunity this year, we haven't in the past because it's been dry, to plow this hill up, float it out, level it up good. Albert brought the float over here. Cheeto's been shredding with the 4560, and the tractor Albert brought the shredder, or brought the float on over here, is the tractor we've been running the drill. So we want our drill back hooked up so we can come over here and drill this tomorrow. He's gonna take the shredder that was on the 4560, he's gonna take the shredder back and hook the drill back on, and we're gonna use the 4560 to pull the land plane float with. Got Cheeto rolling over there on the hill with the float. Just got started with that 4560. Well, it's a sharp looking rig up there. I like that tractor. It's one of my favorite ones. And then we're gonna come back and sow a cover crop in here. I was afraid these cotton stalks were gonna give us a problem. This side was dryland this year, so the stalks aren't near as big as the other side over here under the pivot. But these cotton stalks, they're like rubber. Cotton stalks won't, I can pull it out. You know, here's a green cotton stalk. You know, I can't even bend that thing. So you have to shred them off this time of year. Once they get a lot of freezing on them, you can hit them with the stalk cutter and chop them up pretty good. But you know, they're just full of moisture and they're not gonna do anything. So you gotta be real careful when you go to floating cotton stalks, because they won't break up. They just drag and ball up. It makes a big mess. So the cotton stalks is what I was worried about. That's why we shredded this off, just to make for sure, because once you plow it, you can't come back and shred them. This field cultivator I have here has spikes on it, and these spikes work real good at you know, you might have cotton plants here, but they kind of wiggle through. If you have sweeps on it, it'll uproot the cotton stalk, and then they start dragging in the hairs. So this plow has spikes on the front. It's got 3 sets of hairs here. These are the original John Deere hairs. I had to scoot them up to make these baskets fit on. I put these on last year. These are essentially brand new roller cone rolling baskets here, kind of pat the dirt back. But it makes this plow a really nice plow. Really like the setup here. Works good, pretty cheap rig. Gets a lot done. And as you can tell, it's pretty durable, especially with cotton stalks and smoothing ground out and busting crust or whatever you need to do with it. So I really like this plow. I like this tractor, pulls it good. About 6 miles an hour. Got my GPS rolling here. Got an alert there. Click that off. Just keeps going. There it is. So, yeah, I got the GPS. Just got an east-west line going here, 90 degrees. There's all the readings of my tractor. 196 degrees on the engine. Oil pressure is 44. Looks like the hydraulic oil is 117 degrees. Using about 1/3 of the tractor's power. Alternator. Engine hours. There's the clock. Pretty simple setup here. This is the IVT transmission. Just give it the throttle. Scroll the dial to your desired speed. So that's kind of what's going on there, but looks like I'm about to wrap it up for the first plowing trip right now, and then I need to start plowing in behind where Cheeto's ran the float to kind of groom that dirt back out and make sure it looks real good, because that's what we're here to do. Cheeto's running the land plane over there, and essentially what it does is just level the ground out. So I can hop down here, you can kind of see the flatness of the ground, other than like the tire tracks. But it just drags dirt and smooths in the holes. So I'm taking the field cultivator right behind him and plowing all the variation in between, like where the tire tracks went and the little humps and bumps. They didn't get quite smoothed out. I'm just flattening them back off. So it looks really pretty behind the plow. You can tell it's just looks really nice. Doing a good job. Plow's doing a good job. So we still have the other half of the hill to do. We're working on this half first. It's bad. It was real bad. It's 10 times better now. You can kind of see this is where I've plowed, this is where he's land planed, and I've plowed over there too. But well, good morning. Next day, we got our floating done yesterday. We got our plowing done. This morning we're fishing this equipment back out of here. This is the tractor Cheeto's been running with the land plane here. Pretty simple rig. It's just got a scoop here and a scoop there, and it just picks up dirt. And as you cross a low spot, this thing's really long, that dirt will fall out into the low spot, and it'll pick up dirt as you get to a higher spot. So works pretty simple, real simple actually. But that's what we use to smooth and level out wide areas or bigger areas of land. So we use a land plane. This is a definitely a farm sale special. It's not nothing fancy, but it works good when we need it. I'm gonna fire this tractor up and we're gonna go unhook it. See if she'll crank. This thing fires right up. So we are sowing rye as a cover crop. Sowing it really shallow. This sand here, it'll just kind of eat that stuff as it's still kind of settling. But we do got a huge pivot parked right there if we need it. So we'll stop and look at this seed here in a second. So this is what rye seed looks like. Looks just like wheat, but it's a little longer. It's smaller, it's skinnier and longer than wheat. But we like to plant rye as a cover crop. Rye grows really tall and it grows a big root structure. Now it is kind of a lanky plant. Wheat would be a lot hardier of a plant, but what we're after is crop residue. So the more residue we can grow above the ground, the better. Rye also comes up a lot better in cooler temperatures, which we're starting to run into cooler temperatures. So we're sowing it pretty shallow. As you can kind of tell on these discs, is a good way to always just kind of measure it, which it's going to be Humpty Dumpty. Like right there is not as deep, but the disc we're running about an inch deep. So it's just right. Sowing 36 pounds. We left it the same pounds that we've been sowing wheat with, especially on this sand hill, because it's crucial we get some cover growing here. We'll have a big problem in a couple weeks if we don't get something growing. Rye grows real aggressive and it gets really tall, and it makes a lot of residue above the ground, and it also grows a big root structure. Also, rye is good in the colder weather. This morning it was 32. The wheat is starting to take about 10 days to come up, where rye will probably take about 5 days. We're sowing this rye to essentially get a standing cover crop across this to keep the wind erosion down, and to help put more roots back into the soil and help hold this ground where it's supposed to be in a level, farmable field here. So I hope y'all have learned a little bit about cover crops while we're planting them, what they do. Hopefully here in a couple weeks we'll have a green field here, not just a brown field. That's the goal. Get us a really nice crop growing right here. Now this cover crop will be killed out. This will be planted into irrigated cotton next year. It'd have been nice to put some fertilizer down while we did all this plowing and floating, but we'll just have to add that on at a later time because we didn't have any fertilizer here right now. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all all had a great and wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching. See you next time.